Oh, hello, hello. Hang on. Only two chat rules. Please be over the age of 17 and please be kind to one another. And there we go. And hello to the one person who's here so far. Two, hang on, they're counting in. Let me pop this out. Pop out chat. Move it over to this side. See, I'm combobulated today. Not discombobulated. A little late, but otherwise here. Hello, hello. Is anybody out there? Hello, Tammy. No, Tammy. Sorry. I'm tripping over my tongue. Trip, trip, trip. Oops. Trying to figure out which direction. Okay. So the problem is over here. I need to move the camera this way. There we go. Problem is it's got a wide angle, and my desk pad is just not quite wide enough. Hi, everybody, and welcome. It is Sunday, and therefore it must be a coloring with Christine kind of day. Tammy, it's been if you haven't been following my channel, you don't know that I lost my coloring companion, my Sweet Coriander kitty, this week. It's been a very difficult week. First watching her be sick, and then on Friday morning, eventually losing her. So I'm okay. I'm a little bent, but I'm doing okay. Kathy, hi, honey. Thank you so much for your message. It meant the world to me. But this is not a day of sadness. This is a day of tribute. And so as I was trying to decide what to color and flipping through various books, the combination of, well, how do I feel about, what do I want to color? What do I want to color with? Thank you, Tammy. And all of that. And I grabbed out Twilight Garden. And of course, you remember that this was the last thing that we worked on here in this book with Inktense. And I was flipping through, and look what came up. And so I was going to color this in tribute to my sweet girl. I put a picture of her in the community, in the message that I wrote to the YouTube community. So you can, it's the same reference photo that I'm going to work from. And so I thought that I would do this page for my Sweet Coriander. And so I promise I won't be sad. Well, I can't promise that. I promise I'll control it. I won't melt down and dissolve into fits of sobs or anything. I promise. Anyway, I'm just very glad to be back with you because I know I missed 2 weeks in a row. Now, if you are, hang on, let me deal with the camera issues. I have various tools out that I was looking at as to how to proceed. So let me move some of that away. If you are unfamiliar with Derwent Inktense, they are they are my favorite coloring medium. Oh, I was dealing with the camera, wasn't I? Hello. Let's bring up the camera controls and get rid of that pesky autofocus. There we go. And restore my white balance to something a little warmer. Give me a warmer tone. There we go. Oh. Give me a warmer tone. There we go. All right. I just don't want to look quite so dead. Part of it is I had to pull up my old background. Unfortunately, we had a bit of an accident on it. And so the only one I had left was a black one, and it's not the best for the reflected light. So I apologize for that. I'll try and get some more blue ones in, which were so much better for the reflected light. Anyway, they are pencil form, but they are ink. They're water soluble, and you scribble them on with, use them like a regular pencil, and then you activate them with a water brush. And so they, like I said, they are my absolute favorite medium in the world. And I like them because you can mix them even on a regular palette, like just a sheet of plastic, and you can mix any color that you want. So, if it's not in the 72 set, you can invent it. Once again, I am not super duper thrilled with how the light is reflecting on this page today. So hopefully you'll be able to see it, and we'll get started. How is everybody? And what's going on in all of your lives? Let's see here. All right. While you're typing some stuff in for me to look at, I will. Oh, look, that's even better focus. Okay, so now the photo. Oh, wait. Cancel. Okay. So here's my photo of my sweet girl. And so it's kind of hard to see if I can, there we go. Okay. It's kind of hard to, rats. I don't know how to make it go away altogether. But you can see, well, I can see, I don't think you can see. She had like a little brown, it was a very, very light colored mouth and cheeks, and then darker. And then she had like these white triangles, or not white, but tan triangles around her eyes. So if I were to, because I like to start with my light colors, if possible, and then work back in. Oh, hello, Shara, and thank you. And hi, Shannon, as well. And welcome. I'm glad to see you guys. And Shara, I've been meaning to get over to your channel. For those of you who don't know, Reborn Living Dolls is our dear friend Shara and her sister Shannon. Well, actually, it's not Shannon, but it's Shara's channel. And she has a new hobby that involves Reborn Living Dolls, and they are absolutely adorable. And the more I watch between you and Anne, the more convinced I am that it's a fascinating hobby. So more power to you, and I look forward to seeing more content. And congratulations, by the way, on how well your channel is doing. Okay, so I want to pull in some lights, and then I also want to pull in my white. So we'll sort of wing it here, see how we're doing. This is the light tan. We'll pull this all the way down and go for a much better focus. Well, it's the least I can do, Shara, considering that I was such a such a pill about it earlier. Going, oh, that's a weird hobby. I mean, that's not very supportive of you just because you're my friend. I will support you no matter what you do. Um, so anyway, all right. So just like I say, they operate just exactly like like a layering pencil. You just like virtual. I'm using virtually no weight, just the pencil weight, and sort of laying in that triangle of the lighter shade of her eyes. And I doubt I'll get it exactly right, but you know what? It doesn't have to be right. It has to just be what it is. An attempt to pay tribute to my lovely, sweet little girl who lived a good life, brought me endless joy and endless love, and takes mine with her. I could tell you the whole story, guys. It's pretty amazing when you kind of stop and think about it, and how intuitive they are. And I mean, at one point in time, I'm just in absolute tears. She's reaching up and patting me on my face, and telling me it's going to be all right. But with between COVID-19 and everything else, it's so hard if you lose a pet right now, um, because your only other choice is to take them in, and they won't let you be with them. It's all about handing them over at the door, and I just couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And of course, I did. I did a fair amount of oh, I must be the cruelest human being in the world to let a cat pass away at home without assistance. La da da da. Well, as it turns out, apparently I'm not the only one. Happens all the time, and I have a whole little support system now around that, because I was pretty well convinced that I was, like I say, the cruelest pet parent that had ever lived. Um, Now, there is a sister product to Derwent Inktense. It's called Graphitint. It is uh, it is water soluble graphite, whereas these are water soluble ink. It is water soluble graphite, and so you can achieve some very subtle and light colors through that. So I may yet grab some of these out. Um, Especially for my lighter grays. See if I can lay hands on the Graphitints easily. Yes. I was going to say, if I have to hunt them down right now. It's, well, Kathy, it was, I'll tell you what, it is, what I think the thing that surprised me the most is I'm not. I mean, I'd have to look. I look back at my history with animals that I've had to, have euthanized, and um, did I do it when I did it? for the right reasons? You know, was it so much wanting to prevent them suffering, or more wanting to prevent me from seeing them suffer, that kind of thing. And so I had all of these conversations with myself about all of that. And because there, let me tell you what, it is not an experience for the for the weak. It is not an experience for the weak. It just, oh my gosh, it was. This is the graviton, and this is sort of a gray. I just want to put that in as a starting point. This is called cloud or warm gray, as a starting point for my darker shades. And wait a second, I think that if I look at the photo, yeah, see, there's the white. I'm sort of screwing this up. So, ooh, look, fresh batteries, everybody. Yeah. Let me take that out. Okay. All right. Because that is even a little bit lighter. All right, so let me set this. So this is just the water. Looks a little bit yellow right now, but it won't. Just want to set that first layer, and then you can layer it up. You have to let it dry in between, and Maria's paper is absolutely ideal for this medium. So, because it doesn't peel up as long as you let it dry in between. Okay. Now the graviton, unlike the Inktense, once the Inktense is down, it's permanent, but the graviton can still be moved around. It's well, here, oh my gosh, you know, I've become a firm believer that the universe gives you the things you need to know when you need to know them, right? So now when you have an animal that you take in for euthanization, you've got a choice. They can either give you the dog or cat back, or, you know, pet back, and you can, you know, bury it or have it cremated, or you can, you know, use their, you hesitate to use the word disposal services, whatever. If you are like me, you believe that they're gone, and that, you know, what is left is simply a vessel, you know, that they were in, but they're not there anymore. So, and, you know, so, but the sweet little thing, because, you know, and when an animal senses that it's about to pass away, it will go away. It will find a way to hide. And she was no different. She crawled out of her warm, safe, comfortable bed and into the perfect size box. She picked a box at random, because there was a stack of boxes that were, you know, in an unused corner, and she crawled in there, and that's where she was when I found her on Friday morning. courteous little thing that she was. Just, I mean, anyway, but I've been watching. YouTube recommended a show called Ask a Mortician. Caitlin Doty, Ask a Mortician. And so I've been watching her show because it's actually really fascinating stuff. And so I had some answers about how to, to deal with the aftermath before it happened. And so, like I say, that's not something I ever would have given a moment's thought to before. Okay, so now what I want is, okay, I want to run my gray all the way around. All right, so that's the white. Okay, I think I can still get the graviton out. All right, so we want the gray, want the warm gray all the way out here. And this is just going to be one of those, it's going to be one of those things where I have to sort of feel my way around. I may switch over from the graviton to the charcoal, or maybe the neutral. Yeah, I think I may go with the neutral gray here. Here with the outside. Sort of a little bit darker in there. And then that part in there was the lighter part. So just keep going. But yeah, so my friend Virginia actually got in touch with me after, when I made a post on Facebook, and she had recently been, oh, good. Good. I'm not the only one. You've been watching her for years. Kathy, I just see you and I are like soul sisters. The chroma flow. I just saw something about that. I've never heard of them. I don't even know what they are. But that's the second reference that I've seen to them. Now, I don't know what the chroma flow are. Are they sort of the regular pencils? Okay. All right, and then our little chinny chin chin was very light and white. Okay, so we're working on it. All right, so now let's see. The sides of her nose are darker. So let's see here. I don't want that. I don't want the Payne's gray is too blue. So I think I'll stick with the neutral gray. Oh wait, that's the Chinese ink. Isn't there a charcoal? I thought there was a charcoal gray. Maybe I have it in my hand. Maybe it looks black. That's Indian ink. That's in black. There's got to be. Oh, there is a charcoal gray. Okay. So now we'll go even darker with the charcoal over here. Okay. and then she did the same thing here. Okay. And it's dark. Sure. Okay, so now it was dark coming down here as well. Sorry guys, I'm just concentrating on this little bit. Coming back to these pencils are very vibrant and creamy. So you got them and you're trying them. You love the grappa tints. Derwent also has a chroma flow. Vibrant and creamy. And are they regular colored pencil, like oil-based or wax-based, Barbara? Hi, Michaela. Make sure it's Michaela, right? I think we go through this every time. I went to school with a lady who said Michaela, only I say it's Michaela, and you just say yes or no. Is it Michaela? Yes or no? At which point in time I'll change it to Michaela. Okay. Then I'll be adding some individual hairs and stuff like that. Okay, so now, see, this is a little bit darker. Just like a dark spot in there. I can't seem to keep my anyway, yeah, Caitlin's her channel is just a hoot. I watched it, I guess the first time it got recommended because, you know, she was saying how is Los Angeles dealing with, you know, this huge influx of customers, you know, under the current health crisis, and so that's probably how I got recommended to it. But yeah, I've watched a lot. The she was talking about the you know, a lot of the details of the the 1970s the soccer team, the the Brazilian soccer team got stuck in the Andes for 70 something days. Ended up having to eat each other. Yeah, not pleasant stuff, but she delivers it in such a charming way. The problem is I know that picture is stored somewhere. I just don't know where it is. And yeah, I do. Hang on, where do I find it? Photos. Albums. Yes. Okay. There we go. There's my sweet girl. So now I can see her face. All right. So, ooh. All right. So we have kind of a dark one there. And another dark one next to it. And then over here, there's one shaped like that. Over here, there's one sort of shaped like that. say, it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection is not a requirement. Ah, not what I want. I want that to go away, is what I want. Why won't that go up? I don't want to edit it. I want the time to go. I want the time to go away. There we go. I don't know why I do that. I am rubbish, by the way, at because I can't remember how to take, people will be able to take stuff off really easily. Like, they'll say, oh, well, I want, auto shutdown off. And it takes me a week to find it. Okay. That's what I want. All right. Now, I want the lighter gray to find the right control. Let's see. I'm going to just take this white right in here. And right in here. And right down there. And along this edge. Okay. Then I'm going to take a little bit of the Graphitent. Okay. Because I can always wash that back out. And a little more of the dark up the bridge. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this up or not. But we'll give it a shot. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. I cannot seem to find a paper towel or a suitable rag, so I don't want to use my screen duster. Let me go grab a paper towel, guys. There we go. This way I can dab off my brush. Oh, wow. Amazon doesn't say if they're oil-based. Maybe someone else knows. Okay. All right, so yeah, Lord knows it's okay. It could be anything. I think it's interesting that I guess I didn't realize that they didn't have a set of, I keep hearing that they're new. I didn't realize that they didn't have a set of regular pencils, i.e. not water activated, already on the market. Or maybe they did and now they're just getting around to marketing them. See, now the more you can tap off, and the Gravitins will keep moving around on you, but the Inktense won't. Feather your edges in. And then the darker to the outside. Very light. And it's a process. I mean, I'm just going to build and build on it. And you know, you fix, as you go along, you'll fix little areas that maybe aren't quite right. If you're working from a, you know, a photograph like I am, and or you can, you know, if you're not working from a photograph and you're just making it up as you go along, you go with your inner vision as to what you see, and soften out those edges, just keeping that one little area light there on her little cheek. I said I can always add some hairs in later. I just want to, you know, sort of fade that in without making it too, I want the lines to be harsh. Okay. Coming right along. And hello, everybody, and welcome. And hello, Heather Wilson, and Barb Singer, and Kathy Colson, and Mona, and let's see, I got Michaela, and Daryl Lynn, hello, and no problem. I figured that with the time change, and you know, because I know that like the UK hasn't had the time change yet, or they had theirs a while ago, and we're the ones that are behind. I saw Gary pop in for a second. Hopefully he's still here. You know, so I completely get it. Multiple sessions in one day. Okay. All right. So let me see. Where am I? All right. Hello, sweet baby girl. I just left a fingerprint right in the middle of your face, didn't I? Okay. So really, I mean, she's just, other than those light spots, everything else is pretty well dark. And of course, there is still, I'm missing sort of a element of brown that was the underlayment of her entire coat. So let me add just a little bit of that in here and there. Because you can. You know, you can layer it on top of each other. This white. Sort of adding that in so that I can dull down the white is actually quite powerful in the Inktense set. I find that if I use it in conjunction with the color that I'm laying down, it pulls it up to a shade lighter. You know, that's the saddle brown. That's the one I want, right? Yeah, yes. Now I want the saddle brown. Oh, wait, where's the willow? I wanted the willow. Okay. The willow. There. And I'm just sort of being, because she was a little bit spotty as far as, you know, how the brown presented. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be close. It's going to be good. There's a little bit of brown. Once again, this is just an underlayment. And, you know, and layering, just layering colors and just being light about it in very much the same way that Sammy does when, you know, she shows you how you can just layer tons of colors together and make them, you know, make the contrasts and the subtle fades into other colors, and incorporating the fact that every, you know, thing that you color isn't just one color. It's, you know, 14 different shades of that color, or, and, you know, sometimes it means, you know, putting something on top of it, and sometimes it means putting something underneath it. You just work with it until you kind of get away for that it feels right. And remember that Inktense has a ton of pigment. I mean, it is 100% ink. And now, if to make ink, you'd mix it with water, right? So you are dealing with 100% pigment. So be light accordingly. Shading there. Okay. Maybe add a little bit more brown right in there. Okay, what's this? This is the neutral gray. So make that nice and dark. It's over there coming out of the shadows. I'm trying to keep the little strokes going in pretty much the same direction that her hair would have been going in. All right, so I want to leave that, and then I want this. I want the salad brown. Okay. All right, now, in order to preserve these little markings, what I want to do is I want to set those first, right? All right, now I want to leave those alone and let that dry, because then they won't be able to be moved. I'll still be able to manipulate their edges just a tiny bit, but for the most part, they'll be permanently there. So that means that I can move on to other areas. Just keep tapping off the excess pigment. You get a feel for it as you practice with your Inktense. See how it picks up just little bits of that brown underneath. Doesn't take too long for it to dry. Just sort of work around it carefully. Maybe just keeping to the wet spots. In a lot of this detail area, you're really just remembering that what you're doing is, remember that's still wet. So you don't want to rub on that. You don't want to rub on any place that's still wet. Thank you guys for being here today with me working on this particular thing. This is actually, I'm finding it to be really good therapy. What does an artist do when they need to, work through something? They make art. It's funny, the difference between when I lost my goober 7 years ago, 8, how many years ago? 2012. So that's what, 9 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago. Which is, of course, when Coriander came to live with me. And she was already 6 then, so she was 15. But when I lost Goober, it was unexpected, and mean, he just basically just stopped drinking water. And, so in 5 days from the onset of actually, it was a lot sooner than that. It was about 3 days after he quit drinking water. I mean, he was ready to go. And I couldn't stand not having a living thing in my house. So I adopted Coriander. It's not like that this time. It's totally different. Totally different. Okay. So we're off to a fairly good start. Maybe this is Coriander as a kitten. I don't know. It's gonna need a little tweaking. As it dries, I'll know a little more. I'm gonna add a little paint to the ears, all of that. We need some green eyes though. Need some beautiful green eyes. Oops. Ah! Sorry about that. Pardon me while I punch you in the face. Oh, Louise. Thanks, honey. Yeah, she was a little love. She was my little love, that's for sure. And such a camera hog. Oh my gosh. Such a camera hog. Loved every minute of it. Okay, this is green. Hang on a second. Did she have, were those dark brows? Not particularly, but yeah, kinda. Okay. So one of the things that we need to do, so let's see, is this the gray? This is the charcoal gray. I'm going to take that very tip of this brush, see if I can't put in just a little eyeliner. Just a little eyeliner for her. On the top. There we go. There we go. She was ready. There's no doubt about that. She, like I say, she was ready, and she had said we said our goodbyes, and I am actually okay with it. I'm not. I mean, Lord knows I didn't want her to be sick, and so I think it surprised me that it took so long. That's a long haul, because I was pretty sure I was going to lose her on Sunday, and then to have her last until Friday and just get worse and worse and worse and worse. It was, pretty much more than I could stand, let alone, her. But she was not ready. I learned a whole lot of things about myself, you guys. A whole lot of things about myself. Like, I am incapable, not capable of helping, helping it, In other words, I wasn't able to smother her. I tried to smother her. I wanted to put a pillow over her and smother her because it was killing me, and I couldn't do it. I tried. I actually tried, and she was like, "Hey, no, sorry, you're not doing it." And then I was, a sobbing mess on the floor, and she's coming over and patting me on the face and, telling me it's all going to be okay. And you have no idea what it's been like around here this whole week. It's just been that way. It's just been awful. It is ranks right up there with the worst experiences of my life. And I buried two parents that died at home. So I can tell you that, that's saying something. But it just is what it is. That's just. You really do. You just learn a ton about yourself when you attend on the death of a loved one, any loved one, whether it's a human being or your pet. It's it's an experience like no other. All right, so now you can see as we start to build down with a second layer, you can see how it'll start to get more and more realistic looking. Okay, and cats are very wise, and like I say, she was just such a sweetie, she was she was I truly think that she was just the right cat at the right time. I mean, the fact that she was in the window at the PetSmart adoption center that day, the day that I happened to go in, and the fact that she was under contract, people were going to adopt her, and they were suddenly not able to, and so they called me because I said, if for any reason that falls through, I really need to have that cat. I want that cat. She just called to me, and then then the fact that she was just such a sweetie pie, just such a sweetie pie. It's so funny and just goofy, She was just a goofy cat. As they always are. My little goofball. All right, let's. And Lord knows there wasn't anything that was safe. If it was on a shelf and she could knock it off, she did. Glass things. I finally had to stop putting anything glass up on a shelf because she'd have to jump up and investigate what it was. And it would go crash. I lost some of my very best English china that way. The hand painted stuff. Yeah, and like I say, I am pretty well convinced that we that in addition to, in addition to preventing their suffering, that we euthanize so that we don't have to watch them suffer. A thing that really amazed me, I think, was the tenacity with which she hung on to life. it was just instinctual that she wanted to hang on. Even though she was miserable, she wasn't ready to go until she was ready to go. And then when she was ready to go, she, dragged herself up to be by herself. And just absolutely astounding, the tenacity with which they just hold on. Okay, now let me. I hope y'all don't. I mean, I realize that not everybody, but it is a part of life. The losing. All of our our animals they just have shorter lifespans than we do. I mean, I guess that we could. The options are a tortoise and a parrot, both of which, and an elephant. You could, none of which really make great pets. They're not very interactive. The parrot, I guess, but nonetheless. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm just using a bit of, brown, doing the same thing I did up there, only down here. Only I'm just being a little more bold about it, since that has given me a bit of a study as to how I want to handle this. So I'm going to use these browns sort of to the outside. And then pull in some grays. Nice neutral gray. And actually, I don't really want the neutral gray. What I want is the charcoal gray. Yes. All right. So. Kind of want to leave that so that there's that bit of a line. Okay. And I'm going to still come down this side because this is something that has happened is what have you not heard me do since I started? That I usually do throughout every show. I have not been coughing. And that I do believe is because I am actually allergic to the cat. I actually was allergic to the cat. And the difference in the last few months has been that she's been up in my face. Sitting up here on the desk and all of that. And so the cat dander was actually causing me to choke, and I didn't realize it. But that's academic because I would gladly have done that and would still if she decided to, stuck around. Why do cats, that's the question. Why do cats suddenly stop eating? Absent any other symptoms. I mean, they just stop. Now, that is a shoulder stripe. This line should not be here. Isn't that interesting? Or maybe it should, but the cat's body actually goes all the way out here. Aha. I was going to say that is a very odd looking cat. That is, okay, so let's investigate. All right, so now we have Willow. There we go. Okay. So we have out here. All right, and then here, I'm coloring it so I can mark it where it is. All of this background in here. And it's as long as I think as long as she stayed out of my face most of the time, it was tolerable. But yeah, when she was, because apparently, the dander is so fine. Those little tiny hairs. If I get up and walk across the room, I can actually see those little hairs, floating in the air. So, and I, walk through a ray of sunshine or something. So that tells me that I was breathing an awful lot of it. And so maybe that was, I'm hoping that was one of the reasons, and that I can now cease and desist from constantly hacking up my lungs. I mean, that would be an everlasting gift, my dear. Yeah, you were just a wonderful, wonderful girl and a sweet, sweet friend to have. Yeah. Thanks for sharing your life with me, my dear. I miss you. But I hope that you have got a happy, happy family up there in the universal place where our little spirits go. With lots of catnip and lots of kitty treats. Okay. All right, so there. Okay, so now that at least defines where the cat actually is. Now we can add some more charcoal. This is the neutral gray. So once again, add that in the darkest places. Because that brown is just an undertone. And hi, Connie, by the way. 15 or 16, not quite sure. She was, Kathy, she was 6 when I adopted her. And I adopted her in, I want to say it was July of 2012. Because, and I have to backdate everything. I start from 1993. Goober was born in 1993. He lived to be 19 and a half years old. So in 2013, if he'd have made it, he'd have been 20. So he had to have died sometime in 2012 because he was born in February. So 2012, and I believe that I lost him in July. And so, well, that picture was taken when she was 6. This picture that you see, that was taken when she was 6. And then, of course, whenever you've seen her on the channel, it's been at her current age. So anyway, I had her from 2012, about mid 2012, I think July 2012 to today, which is 2021. So just shy of 9 years. So if you figure 8 and 6, oh, actually, just shy of 9 years. Figure 9 and, approximately 9 and 6. She, somewhere in the age of 15. I think she was 15, which isn't really that old for a cat anymore. I mean, it's not unusual for a cat to live 20 years. Well, maybe it is unusual. But my Nevada cats, the ones I left behind with my ex, they were 2. No, they weren't that old. They weren't quite that old yet when I left. But Jim said that they just died within the last couple of years. Well, actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. When I first talked to him, which was about 3 years ago, for the first time since I left, 20 years earlier, practically, he said that Ginger had just died. Fred had died. They were Fred, Ginger, and Salem. But they all died of old age. 4 corgis to a dog now who doesn't shed. Yeah, exactly, Barbara. Well, for one thing, she was a longer-haired cat too. Now I have had, whenever I've had cats, like Goober was a short-haired. That she was the long-haired version of Goober, basically. They were marmalade tabbies, or tortoiseshell tabbies, and so anyway, okay. So now this is this part. So let's just go ahead and set all of this. Since I have, all I'm really doing is tapping with my brush because I spent so much time sort of making all of this stripy stuff and all of that. And I don't want to just mush it all together. So I'll just tap it, which gets it wet. Now you may be wondering, is it leaking through to the other side? And the answer is no. No, it is not, nor is it buckling the page. Of course, it could just be that the reason why I haven't copped is it hasn't rained in several days. So what I've been putting up to mold, of course, I am still allergic to mold. So, and I don't mean I don't, I don't break out or anything like that, but it does cause me to cough. Oh, see, look, I love that brown. I wish I'd used a little more heavy in the face, but you can see I used it up here, but I'll use it down. I'll use some, put a little wash down here and see what we can do about making that look a little bit better. I will continue. There will be a part 2 of this, but I wanted to get the cat out of the way today so that, and you can, plus I didn't quite know how I was going to do it, but you can see a lot of times, it helps me when I see the process that other people use in figuring out how they're going to do something. So, and then maybe applying whatever part of that I found valuable to my own project or my own, experimentation or however it is. And remember, everybody, that, when you're coloring, you're figuring it out as you go along. You rarely do you go into any kind of a project with it, fully formed in your mind as to how it's going to come out. It's a feel around process, and see, well, how does this work? And what if I try this? Or, what if I mix those two colors? What will happen? That kind of thing. So, of course, if you know a little bit about color theory, you can avoid, ending up with muddy grays and browns when you're mixing colors. Just don't mix colors that are contrasting. You won't end up with a gray and a brown. So, and of course, what is black? Black is the presence of all color. What is white? White is the absence of any color. See, with that brown under there, that makes such a nice undertone for that. So, oh yeah, see, I like that. My little, my little marmalade girl. Okay, so now we've got, what color was that? That was the willow. Not the willow? Yeah, I think it was. Or was it the saddle brown? I don't remember. I think it was the willow. Let's see. We're adding just a little bit of brown in it. Now, oh yeah, that's better. Okay. knew I had some work to do around here. And there's no rule that says that you absolutely have to activate the water, activate the ink, right? So you can, if you do something like this, like see how that softened up those edges? Ooh. I still may activate this with water because I want it to be slightly darker than it is. And I think that if I do that, it will be. Okay. But before I do that, I want to add another bit of the dark. Right? And there we go. Sort of pull some of that in. You can change your pencil or your water brush direction. So if you notice that you don't want to pull a darker color into a light one, just change your direction so that you are then sort of pushing the dark back over into its designated spot. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to pull a little bit more brown into the base. The lower portion of the face so that it better matches the coat, since I had figured out, more about the dark marmalade body. Up here I was being very tentative with color. And so there'll be probably a little more, I'm a little happier with the bottom portion of the face, but I think there's still a little bit of tweaking that will need to go go on. Hi, Corolla. How are you, honey? I was thinking about you this week with your beautiful Baloo and Gizmo. And okay, so now we can add a little bit just a blush of pink to the ears. Little healthy pink ears. When that dries, this is sort of still a fairly wonky looking cat. I need to fix some of that. I need to fix the eye. This eye is still bad. Figure out what's wrong with it. Well, I think that I think I exaggerated that triangle just a bit much on this. Let's see if we can just take it down just a notch without losing too much. There we go. That's a little bit better. Well, I'm having good moments and bad ones, Corolla. Right, this moment is a pretty good one. So I'm gonna take the win. All right, now let's see. The chest is technically it's white, but you know, it's only as white as white is. So what I want to do is I want to use just a little bit of the Payne's Gray, because Payne's Gray is gray, but it's blue. All right, and so it serves as sort of shadowy. So I'm just adding a little shadow right there underneath the chin. And on the underside, down here, but just a little bit on top of the and just barely using the pencil weight. To just add just a tiny tad at some of the transition points. Okay, and then I will add the white, because yep, white is actually a color. It's just the absence of color. In this particular case, it's more like ivory. Just creating little circles with it. And I'm not using a lot of pigment. I mean, it is a lot of pigment, yes. But, I mean, it's white pigment, so it can't really, white ink is sort of amorphous. It's not super opaque. So I've been looking at this Ken Matsuda book that actually I think CB or Connie, I think you did a flip through of it, and Karen at Zucchini Coloring has been coloring in it. Man, I like that book. It's only available on Etsy though. So it's a Japanese, is that right? Difficult. Yeah, exactly, Connie. It is. I'm just really glad that you know I and what's funny is that the last time that I lost a cat, I by this time I was already at 2 days post. I was already thinking that I would like to get a new cat, adopt another animal. And I'm not really, not really there this time. Not yet, anyway. Not that I don't want to. I mean, I certainly will. Uh, but it's, I'm a little more okay with it, or I'm a little more damaged by it. I'm not sure which. Uh, I certainly am not, I certainly am not, oh, woe is me, life won't go on. I mean, that's just not me to begin with. But uh, I don't know. I feel like I need to mourn. I need to mourn her for a little while because she was just, she was special. She was my baby. She needs some lips. She needs some lips. Give that kitty cat some lips. Hello, beautiful. Yeah. Take some of that up. See, we can take a little of that up. There we go. There we go. That's perfect. Perfectamundo. Now, we still have to make your face darker. Quit being a timid little girl, Christine. Get in there. Get some pigment down on that. I can hear her saying, hey, Mom, my face is a little too pale here. Looking a little purple up here. I want to look purple. It was so much more pretty than that. Make me a purple cat. It's funny because you really do get a handle on what some of the underlying colors in that make up a particular color of ink are. When you use it very lightly, it's easier to break those colors down with your eye into their individual components. Okay. So now, all right, then there's, okay. So now I'm going to roll the page just a tiny bit so that I can bring in charcoal gray. Like I said, there's no rule that says that you have to. Activate the ink, but I'm probably going to. Mostly because but I am just tapping. I'm not attempting to I don't want to blend it or anything like that. I'm just, after it's been wet and wet and wet again, I can blend it. That would not be an issue, but what I want is to just tap it. Keeping on my lights. And just, obviously, just tapping off. Brushing in the opposite direction where in the places I want it to stay light. Now, what Inktense will not do is flow into someplace else. Like watercolors will flow into each other and make a different color. But Inktense don't do that. Okay. So, not quite perfect, but who's Fred? Japanese. The flowers in the page from Fred. Oh, is Fred your husband? Or it is, I'm confused. Fred is probably a cat or something, I don't know. Thank you, Mona. She's not quite, it's not quite right, but like I like this eye much better so far than this one. I can't quite. It's got to do with this area right in here. Maybe I need that. I know what color I need. I just don't. I just can't find it. Where is it? Is it the Chinese? No, it's not the Chinese ink. It's got to be the neutral gray, right? All right, so. And I just keep getting too timid. There it is. Now, thinking that I don't want to take this away, but I do want to take it away. Because it's just not right. Not right for this cat, anyway. Might have been the way her natural markings were, but there we go. And still not. It's this line is too black. Maybe we just need to lighten that up. Let's see. I'll give you a chance to see how. can't disappear it, but you can fade it up just a little bit. You know what I mean? So if you use your white, just fade that up just a tiny bit. And then maybe you might even where is that? I think I know what happened. I think I used the charcoal gray. Here, so maybe the answer is 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Darken up one, lighten up the other until they look just slightly more even. That'll have to work. That'll have to work. Now I'm having a tough time with the eyes because there's a pupil. The pupils are so big, and the light shining in them is so big. And the color, so maybe I just need a darker green. Maybe that's just too light of a green. Let's try a nice. Let's try a nice vivid green. So yeah, it's theoretically it should be just a lime green, but sometimes you just have to exaggerate. And I need to do a little bit with the gray. I think I'm going to do it with the Gravitant. That way I don't have to. Oh yeah, see that was dumb. Yeah, I don't like those. I don't like those. Take that away. Oh, that's better. See, now the eyes look weird to me. What is going on? Okay, Louise, and up early tomorrow, Coriander among the flowers is looking wonderful. Thanks, honey. You sleep well and have a good day tomorrow, okay? Have a good week. Love the pictures, by the way. The population control, that was very interesting. That was very interesting, the things those people said. And, on the one hand, I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, it's monstrous, and on the other hand, they got a point. So, be an interesting. I look forward to the interesting conversations. All right. Yeah, I mean, I made a couple mistakes, everybody. Like, for instance, that this is just a little too purple for my taste. I know that one of the problems is that the and I need a good one. Let's see. I need a number 1. There we go. That's a little bit better. The eyes seem to, the pupils always seem to go so gray, you know? All right. Quit futzing with it, Christine. Maybe color a flower. Color a flower. Color a flower, please. Let's see. How about a nice Shiraz and a oh yeah. So let's do this. Let's pick a flower, any flower, and we'll color the center of the Shiraz. Okay. Just putting a little bit of the dark at the bottom and the lighter of this, or the lighter Shiraz, or the red violet here. Okay. Just a tad of color. Okay, now make sure my brush is nice and cleaned up, but still brush with water, and then I can sort of fade out and then fade back in. Okay. Make that wet and wet, and then fade out. So that it's got barely a hint of color, and then fade back in. And then we'll take this one, make it all wet and fade out just a little blush of color, okay, from the lighter of those two, and then brush back the other way and fade it in, so it creates that nice sort of effect. I don't know. I hope my cat looks okay. I haven't got the nose quite right either. There needs to be some darker stuff going on there. But yeah, I'll get back to that in a second. In the meantime, I just needed to show you guys something other than the cat. Okay. So you can see that you can fade the, the edges get faded in nicely, so that you don't end up with these, super harsh edges. And you can get some nice fade. Okay. Yes. All right. So sort of repeat that one, and let's see. I should be talking. I know. Bye, Daryl Ann. Enjoy your week. Yes, exactly. Sorry, I'm reading Kathy's comment. Bye. Enjoy your week. Like it was my original. Uh, have an absolutely wonderful week. And if you are among those leaving right here at the 4 o'clock hour, I didn't realize it was already 4 o'clock. Uh, then thank you so very much for joining me. I knew there might be a little bit of an issue around the time change. Like I say, I am not certain that all parts of the where my viewers are from, many are from the UK. I know that I don't know if you've changed yet or not changed yet in the UK. I know that that there's some months where, or some weeks where we have switched first, and then and then it screws up the coloring schedule for those who are, who don't, who, who watch different people that stream one right after the other. Okay, this is going to be the last one, and then I will sign off and tell you that once again, thank you for those of you who have purchased the art that I draw. This, of course, being art that I color, but I, of course, draw coloring books as well. And those are always available. Links are in the description of every video, built right into the body. Please visit my Etsy shop or any of the books on my Amazon list. Once again, that master link is in the description of this video. Let's see. As with all artists, if you would like to support the Copy Fund, there is a PayPal me link down there as well. But that is absolutely not requirement, nor is it expected. But it's lovely when it happens. So I hope that you have found, at least a technique or an idea about using your Inktense that you didn't have in your arsenal before. Otherwise, you've just spent 2 hours watching me color a tribute to my beautiful coriander kitty. who I love very much, and who will eternally be with me in my heart. And so, actually, until we meet again, please color something pretty. I will be back next week at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday afternoon. I will also, I promise this time, I don't want to say that. I will try very hard to do a midweek video on a couple of things. One of the things that has stopped me is that I have a CPU fan that has stopped working. In order to process the video, I have to be able to run that fan. I didn't have canned air. I finally got some in. So I think I can clean the fan and see if I can't get it working again. And if so, there will be a midweek video. If not, then I'll have to get the darn thing into the shop to have a new fan put in it. And because the processing high speed, high def video takes a while. So anyway, bye everybody. Color something pretty. And again, Maria Trolle, hard to go wrong in Twilight Garden.